Welcome to Gracefully Greying live stream. Gracefully Greying is a startup to connect you to resources and information about growing older and for assisting your loved ones. We provide articles, interviews, checklists, and other tips to create a productive and vibrant life. We also have many resources for people moving into later life stages and how they can be helped by those around them. You can find us on gracefullygreying.com and social media platforms. So now enjoy the live stream Gracefully Greying show. Welcome everyone to Gracefully Greying Tuesday live stream. Today we welcome Lori Alcini, who is a certified senior transition specialist and also a realtor, and her company is Arbor Home Transitions. So welcome, Lori. Great to have you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Today we're going to be, well, first of all, we're so happy that you're here and you've got a lot to talk about, a lot of important information for seniors, or really for the 50 and over crowd. And we're going to be talking about turning a home sale into senior care equity. So if you could briefly give us a background, which led you, before we really get into the meaty subject matter, what led you to start Arbor Home Transitions? Let's start with that.
My husband and I, about 10 years ago, got into real estate investing, and a lot of the homes that we bought to rehab were coming out of probate. And we found out through talking to the families that our services could have been used before the passing of the loved one. So we have worked on reaching out to seniors that are getting ready to go into an assisted living community and helping them out that way.
Okay, so obviously a much needed service for people, and something that people sometimes find themselves panicking over, and and we'll get into that. But I know one of your taglines is helping seniors eliminate the stress of selling a home. So share with us maybe some of the stresses that families experience, like could be at the last minute, could be a few months before something happens. Go ahead and share some experiences.
The main reason we have taken this avenue is because seniors typically don't like to have people coming in and out of their house. If they needed to sell their house because they became ill or had a fall or for any reason couldn't stay in their home, even under good circumstances, they don't want their home to be shown to 40 buyers walking through and doing all of that. So that has been one of the main reasons why, and the speed, they need to move quickly.
Right. And I mean, they would realize that, the senior would realize that, but also the family would realize that. And sometimes this is months in the planning. Sometimes it's really quick, right? Like if a senior becomes ill or, has to leave the house to go to the hospital, it's hospitalized, for any number of reasons, right? A house needs to be sold quickly.
Yes. And like you just mentioned, sometimes it's quickly if there's a sickness or a fall, but we've had other people who, the adult children like you and I, would reach out to me sooner, knowing that mom or dad are having memory problems, they're starting to fall, that it's just not safe. That's the main reason, is it's not safe for them to be alone in their own home anymore. And they need a community. And really, I've kept in touch with people and they're happy to have people around them.
Right, a team.
Many times the seniors' family are out of state. So I'm talking to the adult children, taking care of things while they're not even in town consistently.
Right. And I mean, this must happen. Do you ever run into where, a senior kind of refuses, or, oh, I'm okay, I don't need to move on this, I'm fine, I'm just going to stay here?
Yes. And it takes a little time. I have recommended counselors. Sometimes if the senior hears it from somebody that is not their child.
Right, a third party.
Yes, a third party who,
Yeah.
and can give them the ideas of how it will be beneficial for them to move for them, that it'll be
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
happy thing and not that they're giving up everything.
Right. So sometimes it takes a non-family member to give advice, that they might listen to
Yeah,
rather than a family member. Um,
that's true for everybody, I think.
oh, I definitely agree. Yeah. So how long does it typically take to sell a house? I mean, it kind of depends the shape of the house or where it, the condition, where it is, and so on, right?
For I Arbor Home Transitions, we buy the house and we do everything. We get rid of anything that is left behind. We do all of the repairs. We do anywhere from a light update to a full rehab on the house. And then we sell it. It's been that we're selling mostly to first time home buyers. So it's coming full cycle. And I love that. But
Right.
if the senior is not ready to move, they can take as much time as they need. If it's going to take some counseling or the family to
Mhm.
sometimes the getting the siblings all in agreement for the move and the sale is what takes time. But we take as much or as little time as we need. We closed on a house 2 years ago in less than a week. And it all came down to we had a clear title. That's
Mhm.
the speed. That's the only bottleneck, is making sure there's clear title.
Mhm.
Usually in houses like that, you can get it done pretty quickly because they've lived there for some time and it's not hard to find that it's been
Right.
theirs.
Right. So, you just mentioned, you would clear out the house. I mean, I assume that means furniture, belongings. Like what do you do with that?
We normally donate. We have worked with
Mhm.
like a Wounded Warriors Project or veterans communities that need furniture, or any place that will take it. We don't generally sell it. I don't do estate sales. Um,
Mhm.
I would refer a family to somebody that does estate sales, but I feel like normally they take a good portion of the
Right.
proceeds of an estate sale, and then you're doing it while you're there. I'm not there. So that's again having people come and go in the house, and it's stressful.
Right, right. Okay. So for example, if you're donating some couches or beds or furniture, I mean, do you hire the truck to do that, or is that on the family or what?
We take care of everything. It's all built into
Okay.
formula of how we're able to buy houses and afford them ourselves. I have a formula of, after repair costs, how much I can sell the house for, and I kind of back out all the costs um, to get it retail ready. So that's all factored in the amount I can pay for the house. But
Right. So it's clearly the case where you would buy the house from the family outright, and then you decide like what needs fixing. Like then it's totally on your end. The family's completely removed.
yes,
They've received their money, and then it's up to you, your company, to do whatever you want with that. Fix it up, sell it as is, whatever you feel is the
yep,
best thing.
yep. Because once I buy it, it'll be mine, property of Arbor Homes, and we mainly try to turn them around to make them ready for the next
Yeah.
growing family.
Yeah.
Depending on the
Nice.
house,
And what?
depending on the house, a lot of the houses that we um, have bought and worked on have been uh, occupied by that owner for 30 or 40 years, and they haven't done either maintenance or updates or anything like that. And that's fine. They have a lot of stuff and they just take what they want. We take care of the rest. But
Mhm.
sometimes they have a newer home that's more retail ready. And in that case, I would, if I could help the family get the most money for their house, I could sell it for them. I'm a realtor and I've done that. I have had an occasion where a lady last year, her house was ready, retail ready to sell. And I told her, she told me an amount that she wanted for the house. And I said, I could pay you that, but if you give me 3 months, she didn't need to leave right away. I said, if you give me 3 months, I can sell that for you and get you a
Right.
lot more money. And she
Right.
appreciated that. And she called me the next day and she said, nope, I just want you to buy it. And she wanted to move. This was a situation that her husband passed and she just wanted to move to Texas to be with her family. So we
Right.
want what's best. And I wouldn't, I'm obviously in business to earn a profit, but I'm going to do what's best for the family and the senior.
Right. So that's an interesting case though,
Then
where, you could have made the house better for her, where it would have had more appeal to a buyer and she would have gotten more money for it, but she just decided, I just need the money right now and I need to move.
she just didn't want the stress. She didn't want people in her house and she just wanted to move. She
Yeah.
didn't want to think about it and worry about it anymore.
Right. Okay. All right. So you are a mom's house certified senior transition specialist.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
That means I took a lot of training down in St. Louis with the Mom's House family and on how to create the network that I have now of everybody that can help. I talk to elder law attorneys, placement agents, people that help put the senior into an assisted living community. Because sometimes I'm the first person that a family calls. So I have a whole team of assisted living facilities, even small single family homes that can have 6 to 10 beds in there, where sometimes they're an all female community and sometimes it's both. But lots of ideas of where people can go for help.
Right. Okay. So that kind of leads me into my next question, which, you really help families evaluate the options for where their seniors, their loved ones would go. I mean, like you said, whether it's a group home, a large assisted living, maybe they need more help, more hands-on help. And so talk about that. I mean, your relationships with all these places that you've built up.
I have done a lot of friend making. I think
I love that, friend making.
well, people say networking, but to me, I'm going to talk to people to find out, what do you need from me and how can I help you? Tell me all about your business so that I know to tell my bottom line is my clients, my customers, that I do what I say I'm going to do. And there have been times that I didn't buy a house. I didn't make any money. But I gave them ideas about how better to help. Or if they don't want me to buy it, they can rent it, do whatever. I just have solutions, I hope.
So do families ever contact you and they go through this whole exercise and then decide at the end of the day, well, we're just going to get some home health care for my mom and she's just going to stay in the house?
Yep. But that costs money. So depending on the financial situation that's happening, who can help mom or dad, or how much money they have to pay for that kind of thing. There's been instances where I've waited to buy the house until in-home care wasn't safe anymore, or not appropriate.
Right.
But whatever the family needs at the time is what I'm there to do. If they need in-home care and they want in-home care, I don't do it all the time, but I have bought the house and give them their money so they have all of the cash. and then they pay to stay. They can rent the house back from me, but they have that extra money. They have money to pay rent, but they have the extra money to pay
Right.
for home health care.
Right.
So that, you know, that helps too.
Right.
I have more than one. I normally, if somebody needs help, I'm gonna figure out a way to do it.
Right. Is that like what percentage of your clients end up doing that
It's
versus?
only been one person,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah. All right. So, you're talking about strategizing to really get a good outcome for your client
That's
slash.
really what it is. We kind of make it up as I go.
Right, right. Just kind of every case is different, and you're just kind of figuring out
That's
and
absolutely right.
analyzing what the best solution would be, um, which I'm sure is a huge relief to families, right? Because they don't know how to do this. And you have connections with all these places, again, like we just talked about, whether they're large, small, whether they could be moving to a different state to be
Yeah,
near, an adult child, like, they may move from Michigan to Texas to
yeah.
be closer. So explain that, like how much do you get into the details of that?
Um, as much as I need to. And I have, with Mom's House, I've got such a huge network all
Mhm.
over the country of people to reach out to. Um, Somebody asked me for help with somebody that was in California, and within that day, I found a resource for that family, for an area, I think, in Northern California, that there's always help. I think that, like you said, um, building as I go, I've got such a big network of people that I can reach
Right,
out to ask questions, because the markets change, everything changes all the
right.
time. So I just don't claim to know everything, but I will find out.
Yeah. So I think that's important for people to know that it's not just a regional thing, it's countrywide. I mean, you are all over the place.
Yeah.
And like you said, you're networking and making friends with people from all over, and establishing these relationships. And then I mean, obviously these senior living communities and assisted living, like, they love you because you're a great resource for them. So,
I
you know,
think the value I bring to the communities is, they are constantly looking for new residents in their community, as you can
right.
imagine, and I can help them fill their communities faster. If I can buy the house in a week or 2 weeks, then that senior can move into that community
Mhm,
faster. If you sell
mhm.
the house on the retail market, it could take 3 to 6 months plus
Right,
people in and out of the house, and it's just,
right.
I don't charge realtor fees when I'm buying, naturally, so they save that 6%
Mhm,
right off the bat.
mhm. Okay. Because, yeah, then it becomes your asset, and then you
Right.
are going to.
If they sold the house on the retail market, the seller
Right,
pays the realtor fees.
right, right. And, there is long-term care insurance, which is very expensive. I mean, over many years. But, people are selling their houses to get money
Mhm.
quickly. I mean, in a lot of cases,
Yep.
right?
I
So,
think that's why you work and have the
mhm.
equity in your house, that you can take care of yourself if you need it.
Right, right. And so typically your clients do not have long-term care insurance, or this is just
There,
supplemental?
I know, people in my network have had, clients that have long-term care insurance like that, but not very many. And in fact, the people that I know that have had it are almost exclusively in Arizona for some reason. The
Oh,
residents, maybe they weren't always from Arizona, but they've moved to Arizona and they have
uh-huh.
long-term care insurance. It's very rare. It's very expensive.
Right, right. Oh, that's interesting though. I mean, who knows why, but, um, okay. So the cost to use you and Arbor Home Transitions, explain that.
Doesn't cost anything.
Okay.
No,
So there are no costs. You're
no.
just, because again, as we just talked about, I mean, you are then getting the asset and you will benefit from that
Yep.
afterwards. So
Yep. And my part of earning my profit is in doing quite a bit of the work on these houses myself
mhm,
to rehab them and get them retail ready.
mhm. So you have a team of contractors
I
and
have contractors, but I roll up my sleeves. If somebody doesn't show up, I paint, I do landscaping. It's getting to the point that I don't have time for all that. And those are the trusted resources that I need now, because
right,
getting people to do the work is getting a little more difficult, but just have to have
right,
a bigger pool of people that can do work for me.
right. Wow. So, okay. Your plate is full a lot. Like, you're doing it all sometimes, right? Digging in the dirt and
It's added. I don't do that a lot anymore, but last summer I did. So
yeah, sure. Right.
weather prevented my people from coming and planting new shrubs, because
Mhm,
curb appeal is very important, and it
mhm.
it rained or some weather happened on the day they were supposed to do it. So the next day I went and did it myself, and it came out great.
Right. All right. So, people like, do a lot of people refer you? They've experienced your services, and then do they tell their relatives, their friends? Like, what's your referral base?
With this part of my investor business, it's been all referral. And
Mhm.
it's because everybody has a senior relative. You know what I mean? We're all going to be there soon. So everybody at some point will need some sort of
Mhm.
assistance as they age. So
Right.
it's a referral.
Right. Okay. All right. So I know that you have something to do with the book, Paying for Long-Term Care. So tell us about that book and who's the author and what's your affiliation with that?
His name is Ben Rayo, and he is part of the Mom's House group.
Mhm.
And it was his idea. A lot of us collaborated on it to put it together. We then individually wrote our own first paragraphs with our own experience. I have it's not published yet, but my family pictures in there, and I wrote the first paragraph. We a lot of us collaborated to put the technical detail information in there about how to pay for long-term care. But the first paragraph or first chapter of my book will be personal. So
Great. Congratulations.
he's been in the business, I think, I don't even know,
Yeah.
20 years or something. Well, thank you. It's my mom. uh when I started this business, I was this past year, and my mom has subsequently passed away. So her picture is going to be on the front page of the book with me, and I'm
Oh,
grateful we got those pictures for the book just recently. So
right. I know. You've told me that story, and that's amazing.
she's with.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so how can people get a hold of you? Tell us all the ways that people can get a hold of you. And, we want to share this, and we're obviously going to get this out on our Gracefully Graying social media, and you're going to get this out on yours, but go ahead and share how people contact you.
I have Arbor Home Transitions Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, email Lori at arborhometransitions.com. My
Mhm.
phone number is, are you guys listing my phone number? Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Phone
Mhm.
number 586-315-4357.
Mhm.
Call me anytime. That phone number rings to my cell phone, and I answer the phone all the time. All of the telemarketers love me because I always answer my phone.
Yeah.
And if for
So,
some reason I don't, you leave me a message, I call back.
woo, amazing.
I
Yeah, so people are really getting some really good hands-on service. I mean, they're speaking to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is not a mail order kind of thing. I'm willing to have any conversation with anybody that needs help, whether it can, the help is from me or if I can point you in the right direction. There's no wrong way to do it unless it's completely wrong. So I'm willing to discuss the best way for this transaction to happen so mom or dad can get into the community and
Right.
get to safety.
Right. Well, you've got a great service going on, and your background, being a realtor, you've got kind of the whole package. So that's great, and a great resource for people. So we thank you for joining us because you're just full of, really good information to share with people. And so thanks for
Thank
joining
you for
us.
having me. It's been a pleasure.
And pardon me?
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And to our crowd who is watching or maybe watching later, join us. Take a look at our gracefullygreying.com platform. Look at our YouTube channel. We're also on all the social media platforms. And again, we will be sharing all this with our viewers online. So thanks again for joining us. And Lori, thanks once again.
Thank you.